Welcome back to The Wit Show, where reason meets ridiculous and folklore meets a healthy dose of skepticism.
Or where a simple night breeze could just be wind. Or the start of a death whistle headed straight for your soul.
A death whistle?
Yeah, dude. Friggin' death whistle, you know?
Oh my god, dude, what the hell is that?
I just told you, a freaking death whistle.
Okay, don't do it again in the audience's ears. That's ridiculously loud.
Yeah, that's the point. It's meant to scare people.
Yeah,
bro.
well, it's working, so don't do it again.
All right, dude, chill. Jeez.
Anyway, tonight's episode explores the sound. You know what? I'm not really feeling it right now.
You're feeling what?
The show.
Oh, why? Why? Because I freaking blew a whistle in your face?
Nah, I don't know, man. I'm just not feeling it.
Dude, that's not your shtick. That's my thing. It's only my thing to do that.
Yeah, okay. Well, you know what? Today, it's my thing.
Oh, okay. So we're going to pretend to be other people today, dude?
Yeah, dude. We're going to pretend to... Dude, why you got to do that? Why you got to do that dude thing?
Excuse me. That's me. That's like literally who I am, bro.
No, it's not. Knock it off.
Don't deny me the right to be who I
am. Oh my god. Seriously, dude?
Yeah, dude. Look, I know you're all upset and stuff, but what if I say sorry for blowing the whistle in your face?
Yeah, all right, fine, I guess. But you better actually be genuinely sorry.
Yeah, of course. All right, you ready?
Well, I'm certainly not getting any younger.
Okay. Hear ye.
That's not what I'm talking about. Like, you actually have to sound normal when you do it.
Well, apologies there, mister. Everything needs to be
perfect. It doesn't need to be perfect. It just needs to be normal.
Okay, fine. Mr. George.
I'm listening.
I am...
Yeah. Oh, my God, dude, I hate you.
I can't believe you
do it yourself. I'm out of here.
Oh, trust, I was already gonna. Yeah, welcome to The Wit Show, where smart meets stupid and somehow makes sense. I'm Georgie, and I'm thinking out loud, so you don't have to.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is The Wit Show, from what I think seriously to you.
WITS, The Wit Show.
Cool story,
bro. Welcome back to another episode of The Wits Show. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you, like always, for joining me here today. You know I couldn't do it without your help, and I certainly wouldn't be as motivated as I am to do these if I didn't have fans like yourself. So thank you. Today, we're going to cover a couple of things very interesting to me, things that go whistle in the night.
The saying is bump in the night.
Shut up! You're not a part of this. Go away.
I can be a part of whatever I want to
I will literally permanently mute you. This is the narration part. This is my part. Go away. So, as I was saying before I was rudely interrupted, the Whistlers, the Whistler of the Plains, specifically, El Cebon. The wind never stops in Llanos of Venezuela. It rolls across the flat horizon like a living thing, bends grass, stirs dust, and carries secrets for miles. On quiet nights, when the sky feels too wide and the stars too close, a faint whistle sometimes cuts through the silence, rising and falling in perfect rhythm. Those who live there know that sound by name. They call it El Cebon, the Whistler. The story begins generations ago with a young man spoiled by pride and rage. One night, after being denied what he wanted most, he turned on his own father and murdered him in cold blood. The legend says he opened the man's chest and tore out his entrails, and then he stuffed them into a sack before taking them home as proof of defiance. That sounds pretty gruesome to me. I don't know about you, but yeah, that's pretty messed up. Anyway, when his grandfather discovered the horror, he cursed the boy for eternity. The curse was simple and final. He would wander the plains forever, carrying the bones of his father and the burden of his sin. From that moment, the boy became a shadow on the wind. His body withered, his soul hollowed, and his whistle became the only trace of his existence. The sound? A little creepy, if you ask me. That haunting, rising scale echoes endlessly, climbing and falling like a song that refuses to end. Oh, but there's a trick to it. If you hear the whistle close by, you're safe. If it sounds far away, he's already near. I mean, really think about that one. Like, that's like the worst possible thing. You're just minding your business and you hear a distant whistle and then you turn around and then boom! El Cebon's there and you're freaking dead. Unless, of course, you got that first warning where it sounded like he was really close. And be looking around like, who's whistling in the trees right now? But I'd probably be safe because, well, some say that he only hunts the wicked. And we all know that The only thing wicked about me is this freaking show. Am I right? Can I get an amen? I'm kidding. Seriously, just kidding. Please don't stop listening. So, the people that he hunts are drunkards, liars, men who abuse their families. Others claim that he's a collector of souls, wandering endlessly with a sack that grows heavier each year. Inside it are not just his father's bones, but the remains of those who crossed his path. When El Sobon finds a victim, he empties that sack one bone at a time, counting each piece as the person dies, slowly, silently, beneath the weight of his curse. In the villages of Venezuela and Colombia, people still talk about him in hushed tones. Dogs howling without reason are said to sense his presence. A faint whistle in the distance can make an entire household lock their doors and whisper prayers. Some even leave out bottles of rum to appease him, hoping he'll drink them and move on. El Sabone is more than just a ghost story. He's the embodiment of guilt, punishment, and consequence. His whistle is a reminder that some sins echo long after death, carried by the wind through generations. It's not just a warning to the living, it's the sound of a soul that can't stop calling for forgiveness. Either way, I hope I never run into this guy because I do love my whiskey. Deep in the Peruvian Amazon, where the canopy swallows the sky and the daylight fades before it reaches the forest floor, the air is never silent. Cicadas hum, frogs croak, and something unseen always stirs beyond the trees. But when the jungle goes quiet, when the chorus stops, that's when you listen, because somewhere through the mist and the vines, a single whistle begins to rise. And they call it El Tonche. The people of the Amazon say El Tonche is the forest vengeance, a spirit born from nature itself, punishing those who harm it. Hunters who kill for sport, loggers who slash and burn, travelers who mock the jungle and steal from it, they all become his prey. His arrival is never random, it's personal. His whistle starts soft, almost curious, weaving through the trees like a child playing in the dark. But it grows louder, clearer, until it feels like it's circling you. It's not just a sound, it's intelligence, awareness. It knows where you are, and if you hear the whistle stop completely, that silence means he's already found you. Some tribes say that El Tonche was once a man, a murderer who escaped justice fleeing into the forest only to be claimed by it. His body died, but his soul stayed behind, twisted and angry. Others say he's older than man, a spirit born from the earth itself, the breath of the jungle turned to warning. Those who claim to have seen him describe him as shifting shape. Sometimes a man cloaked in vines, other times a dark figure who has no face at all, only a shadow that walks on air. The brave, or foolish, who try to whistle back never return. The jungle takes them, and at dawn, the birds won't sing near where they vanished. In Amazonian villages, parents warn their children not to stray too far from the fire at night. They'll tell them to respect the forest, walk gently, to listen to the wind when it changes, because El Tonche doesn't hunt for food, he hunts for balance. And his whistle isn't a song of death. It's the jungle reminding you that you're only borrowing your place here, and one day the forest will want it back. Along the quiet highways of northern Mexico and the dusty towns of South Texas, there's a legend that makes even seasoned truckers roll up their windows at night. It's not the desert heat or endless emptiness that unnerves them, it's the sound, a soft whistle, a cry like a baby, and sometimes the beating of an enormous wings cutting through the air at night. That's when they say La Lechuza is near. The stories say she was once a woman, a bruja, a witch, accused of practicing dark magic. When the villagers found out, they killed her. But death didn't end her power, it amplified it. Now she returns in the form of a giant owl, with the face of a woman, pale, wrinkled, and furious. Her eyes burn red in the dark, and her wings stretch wider than a man is tall. She appears when the night is still, perching on power lines, rooftops, or the twisted branches that lines desert roads. Some hear her cry like an infant, others swear she whistles softly, calling you closer. The curious who step outside to look rarely come back. In the morning, their bodies are found miles away, eyes open, hearts stopped. In border towns, people say La Lechuza preys on the careless and the cruel. Drunk men stumbling home, unfaithful lovers, or anyone foolish enough to insult her when they hear her haunting sound. Mothers still warn their children, if you hear a baby crying outside your window at night, don't open the door. There's something uniquely human about her legend. The idea that cruelty breeds vengeance and that the death won't even silence the wronged. Some believe she's not evil at all, just misunderstood. a spirit of retribution, not malice. But the truth doesn't matter when the night falls quiet and the whistle returns, because in that moment, you don't care what she is, you just pray she isn't calling for you. The Appalachian Mountains have a voice of their own too. It hums through the valleys and sighs in the hollows, and settles like mist over the pines. The land is ancient, older than bones of time itself, and it holds on to things. Memories, secrets, whispers, and sometimes, when the fire dies low and the night feels too big for one human heartbeat, the mountains answer back. It starts as a sound too faint to notice, a single clean whistle that slides through the trees like a breath caught on the wind. It's the kind of noise that makes your instinct twitch before your brain even catches up. At first, you tell yourself it's nothing, maybe another camper or a hunter heading home. But when you stop moving, the sound stops too. And when you start walking again, it picks up right behind you. They call them the night whistlers. For as long as people have lived in these mountains, they've spoken about them in hushed tones. There's no one story, no single face to the name, just that whistle. Some say it's the dead, their voices carried by the wind that never leaves the ridgeline. Others believe it's something older, an echo of the forest itself, testing us, mimicking us, waiting for us to notice. I mean, I personally think that there's something going on in the Appalachian Mountains, like no joke. You're always hearing the craziest stories, and they're from the Appalachian Mountains. Plus, it's where Bigfoot hangs out a lot. So I hear, anyway. The Appalachian Mountains is in my top 3, probably, favorite supernatural places on planet Earth. I personally want to go and check it out one day. I don't know, maybe go for a hike or go do some camping out there. I don't know. But it's definitely on my bucket list. Because I don't know if you know this, but I'm kind of into it. I'm kind of into the whole cryptid, creepy conspiracy stuff. But don't tell anybody. Just kidding, tell everybody. As many people as you can about this, about the Witch Show. Because we're always talking about it. Right here. Just for you guys. And if you didn't know, you know now. So hunters talk about the way the woods feel when the whistlers come out. How the insects go silent, how even the owls seem to vanish. The air thickens like the forest is holding its breath or something. Then, just beyond the range of your flashlight comes the same sound again, closer this time. Slow, careful, matching your rhythm perfectly. There are stories of men who whistled back trying to prove their courage. Some say they made it out, but some say they never spoke again. Others were found days later, deep in the woods, faces frozen mid-breath, eyes wide open towards the trees, as if they'd seen something that stared right back. Then, of course, the locals tell you to never answer it. Don't whistle, don't speak, don't even breathe too loud. Because the whistlers, whatever they are, don't make noises for fun. They make noises to learn. The more they copy you, the closer they get to sounding human. And once they sound just like you, perfectly, the woods will fall silent. People who've grown up there will tell you it's just superstition, that it's the echoes bouncing off the hills. But deep down, they don't believe that. You can see it in the way they glance over their shoulders and when the wind whistles through the holler. Because out there, sound doesn't just travel. It listens. And when it calls back, you better hope it's only the wind answering. The Appalachian Mountains stories are pretty crazy in my opinion. Honestly, I probably could have done an entire podcast episode on just the Appalachian Mountains by themselves. There's a ton of superstition surrounding them, specifically ones from locals, like if you hear your name called from the trees, don't answer it. The Appalachians say it's not a person, it's something trying to get your permission to follow you home. Another one is the hollow trees portals. You're not supposed to stick your hand inside one because old timers say that's where the haints or spirits or witches hide their charms and curses. A red cardinal at your window means a dead loved one is visiting you, checking up on you. Blue porch ceilings, they're called haint blue. They were painted to keep spirits away because ghosts couldn't cross water, and the blue was meant to trick them. A jar of nails buried beneath the front steps protects the home from witchcraft or curses. And if you find a rock with a hole naturally worn through it, it's a hagstone, keep it. It's one of the oldest mountain charms to protect against curses and nightmares. They also tell you things like never leave the mirrors uncovered during a storm, lightning is said to travel through reflections, and it breaks into the home spiritually. Also, if your dog stares into the darkness and refuses to move, old folks say there's something there you shouldn't see. Speaking of things you shouldn't see, never follow a light in the woods. There are tales of jack-o'-lanterns, lights, ghost lights. They lead travelers off cliffs or into deep hollers to never return. Witches seem to be a huge thing in the Appalachian Mountains, specifically because there's so much superstition around witches. Like, for instance, planting a row of red peppers by the porch keeps the witches from stepping onto your property. Other superstitions include not picking up coins or trinkets at crossroads. Things left in crossroads are usually for spirits, and then taking them is bad luck. Personally, that sounds like something a witch would do, is go to the crossroads and plant something or leave something. Also, cold spots in a warm room, well, that's a haint passing through. I'd have to say the most spooky thing about the Appalachian Mountains is that, like, you'll be walking through them and the woods will go completely silent for no reason. If you've ever listened to my podcast about the missing 411 and stuff like that, like, that's a huge sign that something's gonna happen. In fact, anybody that went missing in the mountains and they said that they were, like, carried by a bear or they ended up in a weird random place, specifically younger children, they all say the same thing. The woods went completely silent for no reason. I personally think that there's something behind it. Something creepy. Something supernatural. Something that's happening that you're not seeing. Another one is the stairs in the woods stories. There's, like, reports of perfectly built staircases deep in the mountains, leading nowhere with no foundation, no other ruins around. And the warning, well, if you see the stairs, don't climb them. People say they don't come back the same if they come back at all. There's also another one, the knot deer, a creature commonly whispered about. Looks like a deer, but it's not. The eyes are too forward, the legs are too long, the head is turned too much. And the locals say if the deer looks at you like it's thinking, turn around. That ain't a deer. And this isn't a cryptid with one story. It's a thing countless people claim to have seen. Shapeshifter, I don't know, skinwalker maybe? Who knows? But I personally would not like to run into one of those things, that's for sure. And it certainly makes you wonder if it's part of the whole missing people problem. People disappear in these mountains at a rate that has sparked things like search and rescue forums, local folklore, or government speculation, usually described the same way. They vanished instantly, no sign of struggle. Dogs lose the scent in perfect circle, like the person was lifted into the air. And the locals say, well, the mountains keep who they want. Oh, and whatever you do, don't look between the trees too long. Appalachian elders say that the woods are full of doorways, not physical, thin spots. And if you stare too long into the dark between the two trees, you'll feel dizzy or heavy or like something is breathing behind you. At that point, you need to walk away. Or in a situation like that, I personally would run away. And these aren't the only accounts of crazy things happening. Like, there's so much more. Like, literally so much more. Things like mimics. I don't know if you know what a mimic is, but a mimic is, well, something that calls your name or sounds like a friend or a family member, and they're calling you from the tree line. You don't ever see them, but you can hear them, and they sound familiar. And whatever you do, never answer, because whatever's calling you wants you to step towards it. There are dozens of mimic legends here, and allegedly it'll learn your voice if you're listening long enough. Personally, I think that's a really bad one. That's probably the most scary if you really think about it, because who's not going to go running for somebody they care about who's begging for help in the distance? Like, I don't know about you, but if my wife is calling for help and I think she's out there and I don't see her behind me, I'm certainly going to run. I'm going to go running looking for her. Like, where are you, babe? And you can't tell me that, like, if you have a kid and you hear your kid's voice, like, screaming for help, you're not going to go looking? Like, that's terrifying. But beyond all of that, like, the whole whistling aspect, it's like a folklore thing. There's countless stories and countless cryptids that have stories of whistling, and it always ends badly. The whistle has always been more than just a sound. It's a breath, a bridge, something caught between one world and the next. Across the plains of Venezuela, it carried the guilt of a murderer condemned to wander forever. In the jungles of Peru, it was the voice of nature, reminding us that everything we take eventually takes something back. In the deserts of Mexico, it becomes vengeance, wrapped in feathers and fire. And in the Appalachian woods, it was the echoes of curiosity, humanity calling into the dark and the dark calling back. And in Colombia, it became a melody of regret, a soul forever trying to finish its final tune. Different lands, different faces, but one sound. Maybe that's the point. The whistle doesn't belong to the ghost, it belongs to us. It's the first thing we do when we enter into this world. We breathe. And it's the last thing we give up before we leave it. Between these two moments, everything else is just noise. So maybe these stories are reminders that the line between life and death is thinner than a breath carried by the wind. Because sound doesn't die. It travels. It lingers. It finds new ears to haunt. So, when the night goes quiet and you hear that faint, steady whistle drifting through the dark, remember, it's not always the wind. Sometimes it's the world breathing back. Sometimes it's a warning. And sometimes it's just waiting for you to answer. But however you decide to look at it, the choice is always yours. Go tell me what you would do if you heard a whistle in the dark. Also, make sure to subscribe, follow, and share this with your friends. As always, this has been The Witch Show. Until next time, keep your ears open and your soul quiet. My name's Georgie, and I'm thinking out loud so you don't have to.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is The Witch Show from What I Think Seriously to You.